Hello everyone, this is White Wolf, and I wanted to talk about overwhelming your presence with your excitement, with having confirmation and signs, miracles and wonders, allowing yourself to connect the dots of the breadcrumb trail of excitement, but also understanding not overwhelming your presence and your awareness with anxiety, with fear, with lack-based belief systems or attachments to certain forms, to certain configurations of energy, but overwhelming your presence with the things that bless you, with the things that make you feel tapped in, that make you feel connected, that make you feel bright, that make you feel wondrous, that gives you that idea and that intention, but also allows you to tap into the formlessness of awareness itself. So there's this sense of purification when you're overwhelming your presence with what you want to bring forth, with what you want to have an overlay and what you want to shine forth through what you do, and having that understanding and that discernment to overwhelm your awareness with your presence, with the things that you're affirming and the things that you're confirming about yourself, because you're allowing yourself to be what you proclaim yourself to be, what you declare yourself to be, what you want to resonate in, and what realm you want to be in, and manifesting your own realm, manifesting your own reality, but also a preferred state of being of emotional awareness, so that you're allowing yourself to overwhelm how you feel at this exact moment, how you want to project at this exact moment. You're allowing yourself to discern that I want to resonate within this positive energy, within this light-bodied energy, with this energy that makes me feel empowered to do impactful choices, decisions, and actions that generate a ripple effect, but also that generate a breadcrumb trail of excitement, that I'm able to connect the dots and see the symmetry within my own reality. So overwhelming your awareness with your presence is really just being the essence of the presence that is aware of knowing itself, of the formlessness, of the nothingness, of the transcendence that is there, and seeing the truth and the resonance and the embodiment of that. And then you're able to kind of discern, like, okay, I don't really like this type of music. I don't like punk rock music, but I like the hip hop channel. Or you like punk rock music, but you don't like the hip hop channel. So it's really connecting yourself to different frequencies. It's connecting yourself with different levels of discernment, different levels of understanding, but overwhelming your awareness with your presence, making it known, declaring it, feeling it, understanding it, but being the essence of it and becoming it. Having your vibrational preference is being your vibrational presence. So preference, limitation, or expectations are kind of the same thing. So we have to ditch the expectation of it and have an attitude towards it that's in the form of gratitude. And then when you have that gratitude within yourself, you're able to be aware, you're able to receive, you're able to discern, and then you're able to imbibe. So if you're able to imbibe, then you're able to empower. And then everything becomes automatic because it's an automatic awareness. You start to make choices that are automatic. You're not very indecisive, you're more decisive, but it's not a decisiveness that's out of impulse. So when we do things out of impulse, most of the time we're kind of uncomfortable with ourselves. So there's this comfort in being uncomfortable, meaning that you don't look at the challenge as an obstacle, or you don't look at what's being presented to you as something that makes you suffer, or something that brings you lack, or something that doesn't bring you an awareness that allows you to tap into source and feel connected. It means that you embrace everything about the journey, you embrace the change, you embrace everything that you're experiencing here and now as a gift. So it means that you're allowing yourself to be the blessed indeed, and meaning that walking in the blessing is living in a constant state of reception. It just means that the wires are not crossed. It just means that everything is more connected and more in sync and more in resonance with your design as the architect of your life, as the author of your life. Because we all have to change the way that we think, feel, perceive, and act and react, so that we have more of a proactive way of living. So it means you develop this sense of a different vocabulary, the way that you vocalize things, the way that you're viewing things, the way that you don't get triggered by something, but you're able to discern and not know all the details and kind of know what's going on. So it means that you don't need to know everything about what's going on. That's when the psychic intuition kind of kicks in. And then you're able to have that discernment, and then the information floods in. And then you kind of know where to juggle this, where to go from this. And then you start hearing the voice of spirit more clearly. And you're able to see that it is the voice of spirit. You're able to see it clearly. You're able to intellectualize it clearly. You're able to interpret it very clearly. So there's a sense of clarity when you overwhelm your presence with your awareness. So clarity is something that we're always looking for within our lives. Rather it's in our relationships, rather it's in our finances, rather it's in what we do on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis. So, and it's just kind of like asking the right questions. What do you want to receive from this? What do you want to really benefit from your whole journey? And really allowing yourself to get the most out of what you want to receive. So receiving is just kind of like giving your life to God, allowing your guides to direct your life, but also allowing yourself to channel the higher self so that you are being directed from the direct line of source. So that you're able to channel that and you're able to bring it back into a grounded form, and you're able to bring things into a perspective that makes more sense. You're not being senseless, you're not being gullible, and you're not acting out of impulse. So what does that mean? How are you acting like? It means that you're acting from a state of resonance, a state of purity, and you have this disciplined discernment. So this discernment has discipline. It means that it's dedicated, it has conviction, and it doesn't feel like it needs to be pushed around. So it's kind of like whenever I go live, and I do these lives all the time, I have to always stage myself down. I always have to set protocols. I always have to set everything up. So we can look at it a bit like psychic protection, but we have to set the precedence to what we're wanting to bring forth within this reality, meaning our meditations, meaning our understanding, meaning our what do we want the most out of, meaning that we do things that are beneficial. We just don't do things just being random, just being scatterbrained, just being egoic or impulsive. It means that we're actually coming from a state of truth and not a state of manipulation. So it gives us a different stimulated state of view, state of body, state of spirit. It's stimulating, kind of like caffeine, how you wake up in the morning, you drink a cup of coffee, and you kind of get things done. You check your emails, or you go on a run. Like I ran sprints and I went swimming after I had my coffee black and some salt in the coffee. So it's kind of like, it's stimulating, but it doesn't make you feel like you have that crash of caffeine, right? Because if you drink too much caffeine, then you have the likelihood of having that crash, and then you don't feel so good. It means that you just kind of are more stimulated, you're more focused, you're more direct, you're more aware of what you want. Not of what you don't want, but of what you want here right now. It means that you're not indecisive, you're not looking for the decisions, you're not scatterbrained. What do I do? You don't have a fear, you don't have a lack-based belief. It means that you're just true and you have a backbone to not go against your overwhelming presence of awareness. And it just kind of allows you to see, like, I can just change it. I can just see my awareness, what my dreams, my desires, and they're all the way up here, and I can bring it all the way down here. Sometimes it's right in front of your face. Sometimes it's, staring at you in the face. Sometimes it's being reflected to you. But we don't know unless we know for ourselves. It was funny because I was watching a movie called The Big Short, and what was interesting about that movie is that everybody had the scoop on a certain thing about like economics, about the stock market crashing, about housing and bonds and things of that nature. It was like these select few people found this method. They found how to go about it, and they were discovering things that were going on behind the scenes. But it's just kind of looking, it's searching, it's researching, it's doing your homework on methods and ways to have different avenues of going about something the same way that everybody else is going about it, but you kind of know something that someone else doesn't. And that's kind of my point about that movie and why it is insightful, it's sometimes just looking for the confirmation and seeing the signs and knowing that the universe is talking to you. Because sometimes we feel like the universe isn't talking to us, or the universe hasn't talked to us in a very long time. It doesn't feel like that, and sometimes I feel like that. Because sometimes I'm like, where are you guys? Like, what are you doing? You haven't called me in like a week. And then the divine will let you know that the phone goes both ways. So, and you see what I did there was the phone for the divine goes both ways. And sometimes it's just you're at the right place, the right time, and you discover something and you stumble upon something that allows you to get the ball moving. Or you have an epiphany, or you have a great healing moment, or you have a brilliant state of being that you never felt before. It means that you're just in a heightened state of awareness because you're overwhelming your awareness with your presence. You're being present with your awareness, and you're living by your preference while staying present because you're not focusing on the past, focusing on here and now, but you're focused on what is true in the moment. You're focusing on the moment here itself. So when we allow ourselves to be in the moment, we allow ourselves to be the essence of the moment instead of the reminiscent of the moment, meaning that we're not missing out, or we're thinking about that one time, which it's nice to have memories and things of that nature, but it's not dreaming of a memory of the past. It means that you're just an ongoing progression. You're an ongoing fluid motion. That's really just what it is. And it's just a current, it's just a flow, it's just a constant state of reception and awareness and truth and embodiment and a disciplined discernment. It just allows us to be there. So if you feel led to donate, but you guys can ask questions, and I usually do readings at 10 or 11 p.m. Eastern. No, I'm not a Christian. I do meditation and I help people with spirituality. So no, I'm not a Christian. So if you're wondering about that. But yes, you guys can ask her questions if you'd like to, and we're going to do a meditation. So if you'd like to take part in this meditation, if you feel led to donate, you don't have to. That's usually when I do the live feeds where I do the psychic readings. So, but when I do these lives, I don't really require it. I just have a message that's on my heart and I channel the message, and then I do the meditation to kind of bring it back into a grounded form so that we can all learn together. So we're going to do a meditation, and if nobody has any questions and things of that nature, we're going to do the meditation. So feel free to relax, feel free to let go, feel free to tap into your heart, and feel free to just be the eye of the needle, the eye of the hurricane. And in this moment, just take a very deep breath within yourself. So whenever we take that deep breath, we're giving back our power. We're allowing ourselves to be coherent. We're allowing ourselves to breathe, to give ourselves that moment to where we tap into the soul. A deep breath is much more meaningful than we give it. It's really just receiving the gift. It's kind of releasing the tension. It's releasing the anxiety or the anger or the frustration or the fear or any beliefs. And in that moment, you're having that quick, energetic release. And it's very beautiful when you do that, when you're breathing and you're breathing at your own pace. And you just do it even for 2 minutes. It makes you feel instantaneously better because you're allowing that oxygen to just flow through you. And it just has that state of release. So when you're in this meditation, allow yourself to overwhelm your presence with your awareness, with your preferences, with your truth, with your embodiment, with the things that you really desire, with the things that you dream about, and seeing yourself as a living, breathing, walking vortex. And as you're doing that, as you're walking and breathing into that state of reception, of a constant awareness, of an automatic way of living in the free will of the higher self. Literally, that you are that energetic force field of electromagnetic kinetic source energy that allows you to be truthful. It allows you to be discernment. It allows you to be honest and have integrity and have a backbone so that you don't cave into certain ideas or certain thought forms or certain patterns that you've been in within the past. It means that you're completely present with everything that you want to bring forth. And you allow that psychic intuition to kick in, and you literally allow yourself to receive the information, have discernment, being able to interpret the energy, but to do your due diligence and have yourself, arm yourself with knowledge. But knowledge isn't the end-all be-all. That comes part with it, but you got to have heart, you got to have soul, you got to have conviction within your faith. But you also have to really just embody the spirit. That's really all it means, is just embodying the spirit. And if you do that, then you will have the golden arches, you will have the doors of heaven laid at your feet, and you will walk up that staircase that is kind of just winding, but you're kind of excited going up the ladder or the staircase or the gateway. And we are the gateway. Source energy gives us the power. It's not the power that we possess, it's just the energy we get from source, and we allow ourselves to channel that power. And we are gifted that to see ourselves as the image of God's source energy and the great I am, but also to see ourselves as the image of the oracle of love, light, and wisdom. Because you channel your guides, your higher self, to the physical body to not limit the physical mind. You allow yourself to lead by love, loving yourself, loving others. But then you allow yourself to embrace the spiritual mass, which is light. And then there is a balance, a unified knowingness called wisdom. That's when you are resonating from sixth density. It's a unified state of consciousness, and that's where balance comes in. Because we can go very far into seventh and eighth. That could be next universe. That could be after creation. But if we don't put it in a form to where it's grounded and it's leveled, then we are just going to go off the handle and not have people understand it. So we have to humble ourselves, and we have to maintain an awareness, maintain a certain frequency, and understand the veil of forgetting is there because it helps us have the container and then contain the knowledge that is presently there in the moment. But then it kind of leaves because we need to have enough within the container, because the container can only contain so much. So that's why there is a veil of forgetting. It means that we are in this lifetime to remember. That's called self-remembrance. So we have self-remembrance, and we're here to remember everything that we forgot. But there still is this veil of forgetting that allows you to retain knowledge, but also the knowledge that's just supposed to be there, it kind of just comes and goes. It's kind of like when you give a psychic reading and someone's wanting you to recount everything. You're not going to remember all of it, and it's just there in the present moment, and it's just there in the channeled message. So it's kind of like we have to just overwhelm our presence with our excitement, with our intention, and understand that there is inclusion and exclusion whenever we are meditating. So we can just include this and exclude that. That's called the law of subtraction, which allows us to subtract and allows us to add in. And then once we add in the things that we need to have, we multiply from that, and we maintain the stretching zone. That means that we open up with more clarity within ourselves. That means that we're able to receive more within our spiritual mass as the container, but meaning that there is a polarity and a charge of seeing ourselves in a more positive light and letting go of the distorted negative light that we were seeing ourselves in. But spiritual mass is when we have that light and we have that access and the direct line to the oracle that we're trying to become, God manifested in human form. So the container is really just making sure that we don't go outward and inward and over here and over there, so that we're not scatterbrained and we're not all over the place, but we still have a humbled, purified ego, so that we're still direct, we're still pure, and we're still truthful. And it's coming from only that. It's not coming from our thoughts, our emotions, but it's just coming from the channel that we are as the higher self. So that anything that is said, anything that is relayed or given or healing or whatever it is, or psychic readings, is coming from a place of purity. It's coming only from that place, not anywhere else, not over here, not over there, but just in a grounded form and coming from the light of Source. And then that's where you're able to deliver, you're able to relay truth, you're able to give it back, because then that's service to others. And then we are still of service to the one, but still it's a fine balance of the two. But then we're able to receive, relay, interpret, deliver, and give what the universe needs. And that's really all it takes, is just one decision, one look, one wave of creation, one ripple effect, to just really access how you become that psychic intuition. And it's just all up to us. We just have to make that decision. We just have to make that choice. We just have to be that, and only be that. And then the rest is a piece of cake. So everyone take a deep breath. Exhale. And so it is. So the point of that was to kind of reinforce the message, because most people, when you're delivering a message or you're putting that out in the universe, we have to kind of wrap it in a bow, and we have to bring it back, because then everybody gets an understanding, and there isn't this big anomaly, and it's like, what was this, what was that? And you might still have questions. You might still have questions about what you received and what the message was about, but it doesn't kind of leave you feeling like there's something lingering, you know? And I think that's very profound and helpful whenever we're relaying to people, is that we give a message, then a meditation, and just allowing ourselves to overwhelm the presence with awareness and with the truth of what the essence of it and what the reason for it was. Because there's always a reason why we say things. There's always a reason why we go live. There's always a reason why we do things. We don't do things for no reason. As people who are tapping into spirituality, or there's a reason why we go through things or have days where we're not energetically sound. There's a reason why you picked that one store to go to. There's a reason why you went into that relationship, that twin flame relationship. Or there's always a reason why you spent the money on that restaurant, and it had nothing to do with spending the money at the restaurant, but it had something to do with a business venture. So there's always a reason for existence. We don't always think that. We don't always realize that there's a reason for existence, but there's always a reason for existence. There's always a reason for it. So I want to thank you guys. Feel free to like and share. Thank you so much. And thank you for just taking part in the meditation. And thank you for your questions. I don't know if I missed any of your questions or your comments. I'm going to look through them. Oh, thank you, Wishbone. And thank you, Ravel, for sending me a gift. I appreciate that. And no, I'm not a Christian. And thank you, Love Always. You could have asked a question. I guess there maybe we're in the feed for a moment. So, but thank you guys. God bless. Namaste. This is White Wolf. I hope you have a wonderful day. And until next time, this is White Wolf.